For all 4-year-olds in the state.
The system as it is right now, it's complicated, it's disjointed, it's broken.
And President Biden is set to travel to Europe to address NATO after another American journalist is killed in Ukraine.
We want Latino businesses to be successful.
And business owners band together to help Latino-owned businesses in Fort Collins.
A lot of my friends that are local small business owners, they are very excited.
In 2020, Coloradans voted to fund statewide universal pre-K, and tonight we are much closer to taking advantage.
The money is coming from a nicotine tax that will more than triple state taxes on cigarettes by 2027. That will cover 10 hours of preschool a week for every child in Colorado. Lawmakers and Governor Polis say the program will save Coloradans $4,300 on average per year. And as you might expect, parents like the sound of that. Thank you for joining us for Denver 7 News at 5. I'm Jessica Porter.
And I'm Shannon Ogden. Glad you're with us tonight. Denver 7's Patrick Perez begins our in-depth look at universal pre-K. Joins us live from the Capitol. Patrick?
Yeah, Shannon, today we heard from state leaders, from parents, from children, from child care providers. They were all here on the west side of the steps of the Capitol to celebrate this new bill that will hopefully design this universal pre-K program.
We can do it.
Colorado families are one step closer to getting free universal pre-K.
We're creating a one-stop shop for families to help navigate early childhood needs and find the childcare, preschool that they need for their success and their kids' success.
Governor Jared Polis and other state leaders revealed their plans at the Capitol Tuesday morning to make this long-term goal a reality.
With today's rollout, we are full steam ahead in making universal preschool a reality for all Colorado families. Not only preparing kids for academic and social success, but saving families over $4,000 a year.
House Bill 1295 was first introduced last week. It would create the Department of Early Childhood, which would oversee the universal preschool program. That program would provide 10 free hours of preschool for Colorado families per week and help streamline the process to access preschool.
The system as it is right now, it's complicated, it's disjointed, it's broken.
Diana Herrera with the Ball Swan Children's Center says providers like hers having a seat at the table of this discussion is crucial.
We are really rooting for this new Department of Early Childhood to make it easier for us to provide the high quality early childhood education that our children deserve.
Among the speakers was Parent Ambassador George Davis V. As a father of two, he has firsthand knowledge of the difference early childhood education can make. His daughter went to preschool, but his son did not.
My son's a genius as well, but there was a difference watching him go through first grade and her starting kindergarten. There's a lot of growth that our children take on in those early stages that leaps and bounds later.
Governor Polis says the state has some idea how many kids will enroll in the program, but a goal between now and then is making sure providers have enough staffing for them.
Our efforts to seek and encourage more providers to enter this field won't stop at this bill, but will continue with additional legislation this session.
So if all goes according to plan, the first enrollment year will be the 2023-2024 school year. That is next year's fall, I should say. The bill's first committee hearing is this Thursday. We will definitely keep you updated and see what happens. For now, we're live in the Capitol. I'm Patrick Perez, Denver 7.
Patrick, thank you very much. Universal preschool advocates hope this free 10 hours will encourage more families to enroll their children in preschool. The nonprofit advocacy group Colorado Children's Campaign says just about a third of Colorado 4-year-olds currently qualify for state-funded preschool. Now, families that do not qualify spend $8,600 per year on average to send a child to preschool. With Colorado's universal program, more than 66,000 children in the state will now have access to free pre-K.
Colorado's community vaccination sites are going away at the end of the month. Starting in April, those wanting the COVID-19 vaccine will have to get it through their health care provider. To date, nearly 4 million Coloradans are now fully vaccinated. That's just over 73% of the eligible population.
And today, President Biden signed a $1.5 trillion spending bill. It includes $13 billion for aid to Ukraine. Absent, though, more than $22 billion in proposed COVID funding. And because of that, the White House says it will have to cut monoclonal antibody treatments allocations to states by more than 30% and scale back planned purchases of preventative treatments for people who are immunocompromised. Democrats say they will push forward with a standalone COVID funding bill. That's expected to pass the House, unlikely in the Senate. Also, late this afternoon, we have learned the second gentleman, Doug Emhoff, tested positive for the coronavirus. He was in Colorado just last week to promote the president's Build Back Better plan. The president said today Emhoff is feeling well. The vice president has tested negative.
The president will travel to Brussels next week to meet with NATO allies to reaffirm the United States' commitment to NATO as Russia invades Ukraine. More journalists have been killed covering the invasion. Fox News confirmed that veteran cameraman Pierre Zakrzewska was killed on the ground, as well as a female producer from Ukraine. The UN now says more than 3 million refugees have fled Ukraine. Two Ukrainian children received a warm welcome to their new school in Naples, Italy. Students waved Ukrainian flags to welcome the two students, the two refugees who fled Ukraine last week. They are now living with their grandmother in Naples.
More than $200,000 in medical supplies was donated today by UC Health to support Ukraine. These supplies were donated to the nonprofit Project Cure. They'll be flown to a city in a neighboring country and then trucked to places in Ukraine that need them most. And Colorado continues to collect equipment and body armor to donate to Ukraine. Over the past week, the state has collected more than 1,000 pieces of body armor donated from more than 25 law enforcement agencies. Now, for now, the state is not accepting equipment donations from the public.
Tomorrow, Uber will roll out a temporary fee to offset record high gas prices. This will apply to all rides and Uber Eats deliveries. You can expect to pay up to 45 cents more on each Uber Eats order or up to 55 cents per ride. Uber says the extra charge will go directly to drivers, and the company will reevaluate the surcharge in 2 months. Lyft also plans to charge a temporary fee to cover high gas prices, but hasn't said how much it'll be yet.
There are more than 7,000 businesses registered in the city of Fort Collins, and just 8% of those are Latino owned. One business owner is trying to change that.
Denver 7's Ivan Rodriguez spoke with the organizer, forming a Latino chamber of commerce in the city.
Connie's Hair Salon.
For Connie Martinez, every day of the last 20 years has been dedicated to running a business.
I could do Thursday like around 11.
But for the last 2 years, Connie has often felt like she's running on empty.
You know, they were saying there was a lot of help for small businesses and stuff like that. But, you know, what a lot of people don't know is small businesses were considered, you know, maybe 10 employees or more. You know, so the real little guy, like one employee, a sole proprietor, you know, a lot of times we didn't really get any help.
Which is why when she heard about the creation of a Latino chamber, she was the first business owner to jump on board.
I think it'll help by getting, you know, a lot of us, our small businesses put out there. You know, a lot of us kind of flew under the radar for many years.
Out of 7,000 registered businesses in Fort Collins, only about 8% are owned by Latinos. An advisor to the Latino Chamber says during the pandemic, Latino business owners struggled to tap into federal aid, a motivator for the chamber's creation.
They didn't have access to the resources. They didn't have the information needed to be able to qualify for those resources. They also were not ready to apply for those because they were lacking the basic information, the basic documentation, things like a legal structure.
So far, between 75 to 150 Latino-owned businesses are interested in being part of the new chamber, an opportunity to connect on both a cultural and professional level.
We want Latino businesses to be successful in this community, and this group is going to help do that.
The chamber will encompass all of northern Colorado and within a couple of months could be fully operational. Business owners say it's been a long time coming.
Dale, muchas gracias, oiga. We're here now and we're not going anywhere.
Ivan Rodriguez, Denver 7.
A complete transformation for a former stray.
She was looking better and better by the day.
A team of vets at the Dumb Friends League helped nurse a pup back to full health.
She's grown into and blossomed into this high-energy, excitable dog who is ready for her next step, ready for the right home.
It's about time. Unanimous support from U.S. senators could make daylight saving time permanent.
Without objection, so ordered.
Thank you, Madam President. And